The 2018 Robert Morris men's lacrosse season started like any other, welcoming 6 freshmen to the 39-man roster. But in their 5 months of competition, the Colonials were able to accomplish feats no one else in the history of their program has ever been able to achieve.
Tyson Gibson with a golden goal to win the championship for the Robert Morris Colonials for the first time in school history.
This is the story of the extraordinary season that will go down forever in RMU history. It began with 23 former Colonials returning to Joe Walton Stadium for the team's annual alumni game. In 14 seasons, the men's lacrosse program has produced its fair share of professionals, including its first ever RMU Athletics Hall of Fame inductee, Kyle Matisse.
It's very humbling to receive the accolade. That the program and those that are around it kind of let me be the first one in. But there's going to be plenty more to come. When you look back on your time, you want the program to grow and you see continued success. And I would say that I'm kind of the second generation of lacrosse player here. So it's crazy reminiscing about the times, but I think there's more things to come and future successes along the way. I mean, it's great to see the successes, and hopefully, they can win a conference and get to the NCAA tournament soon.
The ability to have current and former professional athletes compete against the current squad is a great opportunity for the alumni to reconnect with the program that changed their lives and to challenge new players early in the year. On October 8th, RMU traveled to Buffalo to scrimmage Team Canada's world champion squad. 7 days later, the Colonials hosted Seton Hill, a Division II program that would go on to make the NCAA tournament. Their final scrimmage would take them to Baltimore, where Towson, a national semifinalist in 2017, awaited them. The Colonials now had less than 4 months to ensure they were ready for the spring season.
Yeah, we always joke about how hard the workouts are, but they for sure help out in the end. We work hard every 6 a.m. Monday, Wednesdays, and they really pay off. We don't take it for granted. We work hard during those days.
After months of preparation, their 2018 season would begin on the road against preseason top 10 Rutgers. Ryan Smith tied the score at 3 at the end of the first, but they were unable to take the lead, losing 11-7 in New Jersey.
I think the biggest lesson we can learn from is just how to calm our nerves. A lot of guys were really nervous to take the field for that first time, but other than that, I thought we played a really hard game. We played tough and hard. Just a couple mental mistakes down the road cost us that game, but we know we can compete with them, so we can compete with anyone in the country.
It always feels good to get the first one out of the bell and just get the nerves out of the way. Unfortunately, it wasn't the result we wanted, but we played hard and we're happy where we're at, and we're just looking at Bellarmine right now.
6 days later, the Road Warriors met a familiar foe, and they enjoyed a dominating performance. Redshirt junior Jimmy Perkins set a new RMU single-game record with 6 assists, while defensively, Jack Toombs set a career high with 5 caused turnovers, 2 shy of matching the Robert Morris single-game record.
It's definitely awesome to achieve a goal. I actually didn't really know about it until afterwards, but a lot of the credit has to go to the midfielders. A lot of those points were in transition, and they were just working their butts off in between the line, pushing the ball downfield.
RMU rookie Corson Keeley lived up to his surname right away, needing just over 2 minutes to net his first collegiate hat trick in just his second collegiate game.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got rolling there in the third quarter, and just a lot of transition, a lot of ball movement, and just kept burying them one after another. So
the Colonials would go on to collect their first win of the season, defeating Bellarmine 15-7.
We were excited about the way that we performed, and we went in with a game plan of really trying to up the pace from where we were at against Rutgers, and certainly felt the guys did a great job responding to that, and scored a lot of our goals in transition and the early parts of possessions, and want to continually build upon that moving into this week.
The Colonials' first home game was versus the Georgetown Hoyas, a traditionally strong lacrosse team that entered the contest receiving votes in the national polls.
Both sides of the ball, we went over the scouting report stuff, and again, we want to push the pace. We want to be able to get our number advantages, and for us, we run a lot of guys at the midfield, and we really want to use that to our advantage as far as just being able to get up and down. And with their offense, again, Bucara is certainly a big goal scorer, and they have some other very talented guys as well. But going in, we feel we have a pretty good, solid defensive game plan to be able to keep them in check there.
Jimmy Perkins recorded his first collegiate hat trick and a team best 6 points against the Hoyas.
Throw, shoot!
Intercepted. Here come the Colonials racing upfield. Empty net and the shot and the score. And Jimmy Perkins with a hat trick here late in the half.
Like anytime somebody's having a lot of success, I think work is the first thing to point to. And Jimmy's always been a worker. I mean, from the day that he stepped foot on campus here, I mean, he's always had a chip on his shoulder. And, he really just displays what we ask the guys to just play every situation the exact same, like we talked about as a team. But even in practice, I mean, it's hard to always play at that game speed and game level. But, Jimmy has one speed, and that's game speed. And he brings that every day, and over the years he's now gotten to the point where it's all kind of starting to click and come together for him. So we have a lot of guys that we know can just step up and put the ball in the back of the net and score a lot of points at any given time. So first couple games he's had the hand, but we expect him to continue, and then other guys to step up as well.
With a goal from a tough angle, senior Adrian Tarak Orban became just the 9th player in RMU history to register 70 career tallies.
Boy, there was nothing to even look at. He got the ball through Morocco, and it's a 4-3 game.
5 different Colonials scored a goal, but Georgetown escaped with a 12-11 win.
Yeah, obviously it didn't come out the way we wanted, but we break down the film every single week. We see where we kind of slipped up, and like you said, what doesn't kill you make you stronger. So we're going to keep on moving forward and keep a positive attitude this week into Penn State.
February 24th marked a milestone for RMU, which notched its first win ever over a Big Ten Conference member, and the 3rd win in the McMinn era over a ranked opponent.
Overall, I mean, I think we're most pleased with the fact that we're just playing the brand of ball we like to play. I mean, we talk about dictating the pace at both ends of the field, and a lot of that happens in between the lines as well. So we're really building on that identity and, again, continuing to just execute at the highest level that we possibly can.
Penn State entered the match ranked 16th and 15th in the coaches and media polls, respectively. PSU struck first, but Eddie Smith answered minutes later. The Colonials and Nittany Lions traded goals until the Colonials, down 7-6, started the 4th quarter with a bang, rattling off 4 in a row. Jimmy Perkins got a pair, and Carter Yepsen got the game winner. Meanwhile, defenseman Zach Bryant set a career single-game high with 6 caused turnovers. Alex Hager, behind Bryant and company, was great when he absolutely had to be, keeping the Lions at bay long enough to lock down a signature win for the program. This win began a streak for RMU, receiving votes in major polls that would end up becoming the longest in school history. The Colonial men kick-started March with their highest scoring game of the season, defeating High Point 16-11.
Our goal every time out is we want to make teams play the way that we want to play. So we're going to, again, push the tempo at both ends of the field. We're going to try to get our opportunities in between the lines, and offensively we have some specific things that we've noticed that we wanted to expose, and just being efficient overall. On the offensive end, we need to make sure that we're seizing the opportunities that we have, and defensively getting the stops when we can.
They punished the Panthers with 4 man-up goals, their most in a single game since February of 2015. Matt Schmidt also became the 4th player in team history with 2 career games of 8 points or more, enough for the Central PA product to be named NEC Player of the Week.
We go week to week, doesn't matter who we're playing, we prepare as if it's going to be our last game we're going to play, so it's all part of a team effort, so I wouldn't have been able to do it without everybody else working and putting all the effort in throughout the week.
Then came RMU's westernmost road trip of the 2018 season, a face-off with Marquette, their 3rd ranked opponent of the campaign.
I'm seeing that they like to create their own shots, so making sure we're playing really tough 1v1 defense, that's going to be one of our keys to success. Pressuring out on the ball, making sure we're not getting too aggressive, but also forcing turnovers so we can, again, get transition, get our guys up the field, get good shots on net, and that's basically it.
The game was a defensive masterpiece. RMU kept the number 18 Golden Eagles to only 2 goals, its fewest allowed to an active Division I member in 10 years. Alex Hager made 12 saves, earning him a single-game high .857 save percentage, while offensively, Brad McCulley and Dylan Sidoriak each registered their first goals as Colonials.
Nice to get that first one out of the way. Always a kind of a nerve reliever as soon as you get to do that. But I didn't expect the third one to be the game winner, so that was kind of nice. I didn't even think about it at the end, but really nice that I can help out the team in that way.
We're always pushing transition, and to go out there and stop a team that wants to slow it down and play long, drawn-out possessions, and then go and shove it down our throat and dictate the pace, that was just huge.
This was also the first win over a current Big East member in Robert Morris history, with a final of 12-2. The momentum of this head-turning win would help the Colonials in conference as a new season began. With conference play, wins and losses would take on a whole new meaning, but in keeping with the Colonial way, they continued to take it just one day and one game at a time.
We always look at, our evaluation of what we can do better and how we can improve, and that's what we tell the guys to keep focused on at times like now, is not get caught up in the big picture, but just taking care of today and being the best team that we can be.
Robert Morris and Sacred Heart opened Northeast Conference action with a St. Patrick's Day soiree in Moon Township. Adrian Tarak-Orban, Matt Schmidt, Eddie Smith, and Corson Keeley all registered man-up goals. This was the first time since 2013 that RMU scored 4 man-up goals in a game, twice in the same season. The Colonials, however, had to erase a 5-3 halftime deficit to start off conference play on the right foot.
Talked to the team at halftime just about the fact that we had a couple weeks there where, we had an easy going in the first half where we were sitting in a good position going into the second 30 minutes. And, we knew that we had to come out and just put forth more effort in that second 30 minutes. And we felt the guys did a great job of responding to that.
I think they just caught us a little off guard in the second quarter there, but we rebounded in the second half and we battled back.
RMU once again found itself on top, winning in come-from-behind fashion 12-8.
Yeah, I think we really take pride in trying to outwork our opponents every week, and we don't worry about what other people say, we just worry about what we're doing here, and we know that we can outwork anyone in the country.
1 week later, RMU was back on the road to meet NEC foe Mount St. Mary's. Once again, the Colonials were firing on all cylinders as they secured their 5th win in a row, the longest winning streak for the program since 2012, the year of its first regular season title. Alex Hager made 19 saves, one shy of matching his career single-game high, and shut out the Mount for the last 27 minutes of regulation, helping the Colonials to a 15-5 win.
Shot and a score! Oh, the long stickman scores. That's Mitchell Wales.
By Monday, they were sitting at number 13 and number 14 in the coaches and media polls, respectively, a new program record. Their next game against longtime conference rival Bryant would prove to be more difficult.
They're tough year to year. They've obviously had, a lot of great success in the history of our conference, and they've been able to manage the game very well from year to year with just getting possession and winning face-offs and playing the style that they like to play. So they do what they do, and again, we're geared up to try to game plan the best that we can against them, and not really focusing on the past stuff, but just making sure that we take care of business this week.
We've had bigger opponents earlier in this year, and it hadn't gotten in the way, and hopefully that's the mindset everyone's got going into Friday.
In another rare night game at Joe Walton Stadium, Adrian Tarak-Orban scored his second of what would be 3 straight hat tricks in NEC play.
We have a very good team. I think I wouldn't be able to do, and none of the other offensive players would be able to be as successful as we are without the rest of our teammates to help us out, right? They get us the looks, they get me the ball, and vice versa. So I think it's just overall, buying into that team offense and taking it play by play and not forcing anything, just making the easy looks.
The Colonials were tied 5-5 at halftime, but the team ultimately fell to the Bulldogs 10-7.
it came down to whichever team made fewer mistakes, and I think we had a lot of turnovers. Unfortunately, we didn't win the ground ball war, which we sort of pride ourselves on. So I think just moving forward is just we don't have to reinvent the wheel. I think it's just cleaning up the little things, right? Making sure we're executing, making the most of every possession, and hopefully that'll lead to more success down the road.
The character of the Colonials would again be tested, as the following week they went into their first overtime game of the season.
Sometimes we get into crunch time situations in games and we stick to ourselves and do what we do every single day throughout practices.
The Colonials started strong against Hobart and taking a 5-0 lead in the first quarter, with goals from Tyson Gibson, Ryan Smith, and Jack Toon. After falling behind, Adrian Torok-Orban started the fourth quarter with back-to-back goals, but with just over 4 minutes remaining, the Statesman scored again to send the game into the extra frame. With 2:53 left in the overtime period, Carter Jepsen fed a pass to Matt Schmidt, who buried it to give the Colonials their first win over Hobart since 2013.
Talked to the guys about it that, right now, every game is going to be a high level of competition. And, it's an exciting part of Division I right now that, literally anyone can beat anyone on any given day. So the Hobart game, we expected a battle and we got off to a quick start. But, we got off to a quick start against those guys last year and it didn't turn out in our favor. So, as the game kind of went on there, they climbed back in and then, got ahead late. And our guys just kind of stayed focused, the task at hand and didn't really get caught up in the stress, so to speak, of the moment.
This 10-9 triumph signified a milestone for Coach McMinn as he notched his 50th victory as RMU's head coach. McMinn's 100th career game as head coach would happen just 3 days later, with the Colonials defeating the Golden Griffins of Canisius on the road. Zach Bryant caused 5 turnovers, becoming the second Colonial to record 2 career games of 5 or more. His last caused turnover led to a goal by James Skane, his first ever game-winning goal with 2:10 to play in regulation, sealing RMU's 11-9 win.
Started off by great defense, got the ball up the field. I saw Sean was running with down the field and Coach Preach's transition, so I stayed in the play and got the pass and shot.
I think everyone just puts all the effort in from top to bottom, from seniors to freshmen. Everybody's on the same page, everybody's on the same bus. We're working hard. The guys that may not be getting as much time still work just as hard in practice, and everybody's on the same boat right now, so it feels pretty good.
That's what Coach preaches, is every day, if you're going to get in, if you're not going to get in, just practice your hardest, play like you're going to get in every game and give it your all, and that's what it is.
The Colonials capped a hectic week by hosting the newest NCAA Division I men's lacrosse program, Cleveland State, for another home game under the lights. In their first meeting in program history, Robert Morris found itself behind early 2-1, but the Vikings couldn't stop RMU's 5 and 7 goal runs. Not only did the Colonials win 14-5, but by virtue of other results earlier in the day, Robert Morris clinched its 3rd straight NEC tournament berth.
It puts us in the position that we've geared towards since the beginning of the year, which is to compete to win this conference and go on and compete in the NCAA tournament for national championship. So to put ourselves in the situation to clinch and be prepared for the tournament, it certainly just puts us in the lane to be able to accomplish the goals that we set out to.
I think it's well deserving that we actually get our shot to be the champion in this conference, because I know we can, and I think all the guys know we can. We put a ton of work in, so it's definitely it's fitting, I'd say, that we get our chance.
Who and where the Colonials would play, however, was still anyone's guess with 2 games remaining.
We can't put much value on the opponent because everybody's, bringing a lot to the table right now in Division I. So we keep that focus on us, and as far as our game plan this week, we really want to get out and run like we always do. They're a team that slows the ball down a bit more, so somewhat contradicting styles of play, but we're going to do what we do and get out of the gate and try to push as much transition as we can.
Robert Morris traveled to Staten Island, where it defeated the Seahawks of Wagner in commanding fashion 15-5 the following week. Jimmy Perkins, with his performance, became the fourth Robert Morris player with 2 games of 8 or more points in the same season. Defensively, Alex Hager had another strong performance in net in collecting his 11th victory between the pipes in 2018, setting a new Robert Morris single-season record. Sparks flew in the regular season finale between 2 powerhouse schools looking for first place in the conference and NEC tournament hosting rights. St. Joseph's, which had garnered national attention with an incredible hot streak, traveled to Joe Walton Stadium for the last home game of the season. It would also be the last one for the 11 RMU seniors who were honored beforehand.
Incredibly proud of the group of seniors that when we came in, obviously Zach said we were 3-11, and almost like a complete 180 the program's done, I would say. It's just very proud of the guys and what they've been able to accomplish, and the hard work they put in over the 4 years and the dedication to stick with it and really kind of put Bobby Mill on the map, honestly. So just extremely proud of the guys that I came in with and have become extremely close with.
I think just maturity with the leadership we have now. Most of us have been together since that freshman class. And I think we've grown more mature throughout the years, and we just bring that leadership to the younger guys, and I think we've brought them all under our wing, which is a good thing.
One would get the chance to prolong his career, Zach Bryant, who was drafted by the Major League Lacrosse champion Ohio Machine.
I think both teams right now are clicking on all cylinders, so we expect exciting matchup first and foremost. But it's another team that we're going to see his own defense with, so that's been a point of emphasis this week, is just making sure we're preparing for that accordingly. And as always, we're going to look to get our number advantages as much as we can, getting from the defensive end to the offensive end of the field. So I don't think too much will change. I mean, we have our approach that we do regardless of the opponent, and then we'll have those small tweaks in place to try to expose them in the ways that are specific to their offense and defense.
The Hawks and Colonials traded leads all afternoon, with Jimmy Perkins scoring a hat trick and Tyson Gibson contributing a pair. The Colonials couldn't stop the Hawks' late run, however, and bowed 8-7.
And the Hawks are NEC regular season champs, and Sweeney Field will be the home of the NEC tournament.
The stage was set for the NEC tournament. St. Joe's would host and take on the 4th seed Sacred Heart, while number 2 Bryant would take on 3rd-seeded Robert Morris for the 2nd year in a row. For the Colonials, their history with Bryant was a daunting one, but in order to accomplish their goal of being NEC champions, they would first have to make it past the mighty Bulldogs.
The Bryant Bulldogs, of course, a dynasty. They've won 5 of the last 6 NEC men's lacrosse championships, including last year's. Robert Morris was ranked in the top 20 for several weeks this year. This has been a matchup that favors Bryant. They've won 7 in a row, but it's the playoffs and anything could happen.
They're grinders, Robert Morris. They got a lot of skill on this team, and when you have that much skill on the roster, you're a threat to win any game.
The Colonials hadn't beaten the Bulldogs since that magical 2012 season, but on May 3rd, they handed them a loss that won't soon be forgotten.
It's been a while since we had beaten those guys, but our approach stays consistent no matter what, and we felt confident with our game plan after seeing them not too long beforehand, and just put it on the guys to execute and really go out there and do what we had put in front of them, and they did it.
Zach Bryant recorded his 100th career ground ball.
And it's scooped up, give the ground ball to Zach Bryant.
And Jack Toon took sole possession of 4th on the RMU career ground balls list.
It's a veteran group, very fortunate to have senior leadership down there mixed with a lot of juniors, and they're guys that have a lot of confidence in each other. And with the Bryant game plan, we just said we wanted to dictate tempo, and going in and out of the zone and man allowed us to control the pace of the game. And those guys are just doing a great job of just communicating, staying organized, and focused on the small details. And by executing at a high level, they made it look easy, and it put the score in our favor.
Coming in freshman year, it was one of our core defenses was actually the zone, and Frank and I were part of that zone. Will came in the following year, and we still concentrated on that zone. So just having those three guys concentrated, as well as Sean Doyle, Danny Smith, Connor Yepsen, just those core guys, we for sure, we knew the zone, and we communicate well through that.
In goal, Alex Hager stopped 15 Bryant shots.
Kevin Quigley with the steal for the Bulldogs, fakes the pass, takes the shot, kicked out by Alex Hager.
We played well as a group, and we shut them down from the inside. They couldn't get many inside looks, forcing them to shoot the ball from outside, and that's what we want to do every day.
8 Colonials registered goals, including Brad McCulley, who had his first ever multi-goal game as a collegian.
Here's a shot from down under. McCulley scores. He changes planes and scoops one into the dirt and through to make it a 3-goal Colonial lead.
That's highlight worthy right there.
And Jimmy Perkins, whose hat trick included the game-winning tally.
Perkins gets it back to the middle, swims and scores! Beautiful move as Perkins goes under the crossbar to make it 3-2 Colonials. Robert Morris with a good look, swimming his way to the front for the goal! Jimmy Perkins with another nifty tally, and Perkins reopens up a 3-goal lead for the Colonials.
This 12-5 win was the team's second postseason win in RMU history.
I mean, we wanted to create a lot of pressure at the beginning of the possessions to take away their ability to push early offense, and thought the guys just did a great job of that. I mean, we wanted to make sure we were dictating because they like to push in those situations, and just thought the guys really executed with that part of the game plan.
And so the whole season would come down to Saturday, May 5th. Number 20 St. Joseph's versus RMU at Sweeney Field in Philadelphia.
A trip to the NCAA tournament on the line with the NEC's automatic berth. For St. Joseph's University, the #1 seed and regular season champions, they survived a second-half rally by the Sacred Heart Pioneers to win by 2 and win their 11th straight game, a program record. For Robert Morris, they took out the defending champs, the Bryant Bulldogs, in pretty convincing fashion. So you have two teams that are the best defensive teams in the conference, and no surprise, both of these teams also ranked at various times throughout the season. They are the last 2 teams standing.
2 defenses that rank top 10 in the nation, and they're led by their 2 fantastic goaltenders. And they're going to be the key today, getting their outlets and creating transition up for the offense.
Matt Schmidt was the first to score.
Opens up a look for Matt Schmidt, who scores!
What a pass here by Yepsen, just rolls it.
And Schmidt finishes the great effort by Yepsen with a snipe, the second team All-NECer with number 32 on the year.
But the Hawks tallied 3 in the first quarter.
McGinley scores! Near side. He had just a little bit of room to wiggle. Quick move, shot at a goal, St. Joseph's. Again, Zachary Bryant taking it wide with 10 seconds. All the way around, trying to get free. He's to the cage, he scores! With 4 seconds to go in the quarter.
Ryan Smith was the first to strike in the second, followed by Tyson Gibson, who tied the game.
In their walkthrough practice.
Tyson Gibson, jumper and a goal! And Robert Morris ties it. Had another seam, and that's 2 straight goals for Robert Morris.
But once again, RMU found itself behind by 3 entering the break.
I think there was a little bit of tension in the first half, just based around a championship and everything that was outside the lines of the field.
We talked to the guys about especially establishing our effort at the beginning, and that starts with the ground ball play. So coming out here and looking to play a better second half.
The third quarter, statistically speaking, had been Robert Morris's strongest period of the season, and this third quarter was all Colonials. Ryan Smith notched his second goal of the game.
Smith to the middle. Smith lets it rip. He scores!
And Trey Arnold then got on the board just 8 seconds later off the faceoff.
I mean, when you're down 3 at halftime, there's reason to doubt. There's reason to kind of wonder if you can climb back in, especially when we had only scored 3 goals. And to have him get that quick one to turn it around when we got a 2-goal jump in such a short period of time, the guys definitely rode that momentum. It was absolutely a big one that he got.
Face-off guys don't get to shoot very often. A lot of times we're doing drills that's working on their fundamentals, and they don't really get to shoot. But Trey's got that in his arsenal. He's proven that he can score goals. goals in, you know, we give them full confidence, letting them know if guys don't slide you, don't be afraid to pull that trigger in. And just like that, any type of goal like that in a quick moment, it just gets the guys so excited. So, for Trey to put that one in and make it 6-5 really gave us that momentum to kind of get over the hump there.
I mean, obviously we have a great, face-off group with, Kyle Vance, Coach Cox, every single one of my wingers. They help me with practice every day. And then obviously playing them, a week before, I knew exactly what he was going to do. He knew exactly what I was going to do. And then at that point, it became a one-on-one battle, which I thought we could win. And then obviously we did 11 for 20. So I think as a unit, we did a really good job that day.
Matt Schmidt and Brad McCulley would tack on a pair of man-up goals.
They just moved the ball so quickly.
Before Schmidt buried his second of the game at even strength to end the third quarter with Robert Morris ahead 8-6.
Schmidt scores! Matt Schmidt. Gibson to Perkins to Schmidt. 5 unanswered for Robert Morris.
RMU's defense came up big in the fourth.
What a go!
But it also allowed 2 goals by Kyle Kane to tie things up and send them into overtime.
Out to the top, here's Kane, he scores! Kyle Kane, with the season on the line, ties the championship with 15 seconds remaining.
The Colonials won possession to begin the OT, but were unable to capitalize, turning the ball over to the Hawks.
They play in. Schmidt takes the shot. Saved by Adler.
Alex Hager then registered his only caused turnover of the 2018 season, which would prove to be the definitive one for the Colonials of the 2018 year.
I could have gone to the sidelines and thrown up, but I wasn't showing it though. I mean, it was crazy. It was a lot. It was one of the most unreal experiences of my life to have to just rebalance myself and prepare myself for another defensive possession. I mean, I had faith in my defense. I had faith in everyone, and the play call from Morasti too was incredible. The double call at the end of the game, just get the ball back and go the other way.
That was a play that we put in for the semifinals. Actually, we're saving it for a crunch time moment in the Bryant game. We were fortunate to have a lead for the majority of the game and just really never had an opportunity that we really needed it. We talked about it in pregame and throughout the game with the defensemen, and we're just waiting for that moment to present itself. And obviously in that scenario, we really needed that ball back and just kind of had a gut instinct and rolled with it and made the call. And obviously you have to give full credit to the guys. It's easy for us to scream words out there, but for them to actually physically execute, trust the call, and go out and make a play was obviously a big part of the game. In hindsight, I did think about if it didn't work out today and last night would have felt a little bit different, but at the end of the day, we were very confident in the guys out there, and we're glad it went our way.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those plays where, when you execute it, it looks like it's a great call, and if you don't execute, I mean, people are going to question it. But, the one thing we always say is we want to dictate situations on both ends of the field. We felt like in the fourth quarter, we kind of let them settle into their offense, and they ended up putting one in on us with 15 seconds left. So, in overtime, we didn't really want to sit back again and allow them to just get that final shot.
As soon as Alex got the ball there, made that awesome play, great play call by coach there, and a lot of trust in our defense to step up and pull that double team there. And Hager picking up the ball, we just knew right then, I was like, this is our chance to get back.
Hager intercepted the ball, and Tyson Gibson scored with 10 seconds left in OT to give RMU its first NEC tournament title and first automatic NCAA tournament bid in school history.
I saw Tyson running down, and once the ball went in, it was crazy. It was like kind of blacked out almost, just with excitement.
Oh, I mean, it was all kind of a blur. I mean, when Hager came out of the cage and made the play that he did, I was, ecstatic, and I thought we were going to another overtime, to be honest. And then when I saw Tyson get the ball, I was like, I had total confidence in him, so I knew the game was over as soon as he got it.
I don't know how he does it. It's that crazy box stuff. Just put the ball to his face and buried it. It was insane.
Just sitting back and watching those guys celebrate together as a team was something special. Just to see all the work they put in all year long, and for them to finally get that championship that they were reaching for, it was very satisfying as a coach and very humbling to see those guys celebrate.
I mean, there's just been so many guys that have put in so much work over the years, and I've been here all but the first year of the program, so most of the faces that have gone through, I'm extremely familiar with. So just always so thankful to all the work that's been put in all the way up until now to get us to this point, and the foundation that those guys have set has gotten us here, and just looking to keep it going moving forward the next couple weeks here.
Postseason play in NCAA tournament brings a lot of publicity to your school, and to have these 38 guys go out there and represent Robert Morris in the tournament is huge for the area, for the sport of lacrosse, and we're just really excited to go out there and compete under the name of Robert Morris.
But it's Robert Morris which prevails in overtime. With seconds remaining in the first overtime, just 10 seconds remaining in the first overtime, as Tyson Gibson wins the championship, the two-time first-team All-NECer, with the biggest goal of his life and the biggest goal in Robert Morris program history.
A number of new team records were set that day. Jimmy Perkins set the RMU's single-season assist mark, ultimately finishing the campaign with 30.
Jimmy was just relentless just with his dodging, and he always is. I mean, he's so fearless going to the cage and willing to put his body on the line when he needs to, and sometimes he pays the price for that, and sometimes the other team pays the price with him drawing those penalties, and and when he drew those, I think our guys just had the confidence to go out there and take advantage, and that's what we did afterwards. But his his ability to just go to the cage and be consistent for us at all times is huge.
Matt Schmidt set the RMU single-season record for man-up goals with 9.
Here's the release! He scores! Matt Schmidt! His 9th up goal of the season. 3 unanswered for the Colonials, and the championship is tied at 6.
And the Colonials set the team single-season win record with their 12th victory of the season. Alex Hager, Zach Bryant, Zach Christensen, and Jimmy Perkins were all named to the All-NEC tournament team, with Hager taking home tournament MVP honors.
I mean, Alex did what Alex does. So he, against Bryant, they tried to go low on him early, and he proved that they weren't going to beat him there. And I think by the time halftime rolled around, he really had their shooters questioning where to shoot on him. And in the second half, it showed up that they just started missing their spots a lot more and not even getting balls on cage. So I think he really just challenged them because they didn't know where to shoot. And then with St. Joe's, he had a little bit of a slow start, but kind of put that on him at halftime in front of the team, and really told him that we needed him to step up in that second half, and done that a few times this year, and he's certainly accepted that challenge with open arms, and went out there and dominated in that second half.
And what a moment for the captains, leading the way through some adversity this year. Again, losses to Bryant and to St. Joseph's in the regular season, but in the end, the Robert Morris Colonials win the ones that matter. They take down Bryant in the semis, and they win an absolute thriller in overtime against the regular season champ St. Joseph's. Robert Morris is moving on to the NCAA tournament as the men's lacrosse champions in the Northeast Conference.
After bringing that NEC trophy back to the Berg, the Colonials gathered at a place that is as Pittsburgh as they come, Primanti's on University Boulevard, to see their NCAA tournament fate.
Prediction? It's hard to say, just because of the parity. There's been a lot of different brackets that have gotten out there. Teams like Maryland, Albany, Yale, Johns Hopkins, Notre Dame, they're all on the board. Duke are all potential options, but again, we're just excited whoever they give us to capitalize on the opportunity.
So who we playing? What?
Say it feels like your first sport night win.
Feels like my first sport night win. So who do we think we will play? I'll go with Hopkins.
Whoever it is, we're going to play our ball, so that's what I'm most excited for.
There's been some different projections online and everything, but through the analysts, but not too sure. It could go in any direction, and for us, again, just supporting the message we always push across, not too concerned with the opponent, but more focused on doing what we need to do. So we'll find out who it is, prepare accordingly, and make sure we put together the best performance we can.
With its exceptional RPI and its top 20 ranking, playing in the play-in game, suffice to say, was a surprise to Robert Morris. But these Colonials weren't a team to back down from a challenge.
Some guys were a little surprised, but it's just another speed bump. We just got to focus on what's next. Obviously this game, and then hopefully the outcome comes in our way, and then focus on what's next from there.
No, I mean, we're just excited the opportunity to be able to keep playing. I mean, it was unexpected, but at the same time, we know we have a great opportunity ahead of us, and just got to take advantage of that whenever Wednesday comes around.
I think we pride ourselves in taking every situation the same, no matter our competition, no matter who we're playing, what we're up against. We really pride ourselves in doing things consistently, so, I mean, it'll be cool. We know a couple guys on that team, and we played against them and battled against them once before, so I'm just looking forward to the opportunity to go dancing.
I mean, we're excited for the tournament, so we just got to get ready for tomorrow and just get back to the ground running, so we're just looking forward to that, and we're excited. Yeah, they're a good team. It'll be a really fun game to watch, and I mean, they know what to expect from us, we know what to expect from them, and we'll see what happens on Wednesday.
Just a couple days later, the Colonials boarded their bus to make their second trip to Buffalo, New York, but this time they were missing a key member. Alex Hager had suffered a lower body injury in practice that would sideline him the rest of the way. Nevertheless, when they did arrive in the Nickel City, the Colonials were business as usual.
Hey, 6v6, we got red D, white O on the opposite end here. White D, red O on the scoreboard end, get there.
My IQ drops every practice with you guys.
My IQ drops every time I have a conversation with you.
Well, I know that feeling of wearing too small of shoes or cleats. Yellow Connor! I'm already getting a receding hairline. Be like LeBron James. Avoid that pole. Trey, good idea. Just get vertical when you're splitting that. Yeah.
That's what I was saying to Trey. I think, based off like my experience with them in like box and stuff, I think that the clamp break's gonna work the best on him.
Set. Good. Let's go 10 o'clock to defensive turn here. Down. Set.
My 7th grade Ella Simmons instincts.
Yeah, and right. Walk the dog.
Right here. Oh, wait,
Short 6 never should walk the dog.
Thank you. It's a bad habit.
It's been a really good year so far. Obviously being the first Robert Morris team to ever make it to the NCAA tournament. But ever since the first day of the year, we've just been focusing on getting 1% better every day, which I think we have been. We've got continually better this whole year. And we've just stuck to the course and just played our best, and that put us in this situation.
The Golden Griffins had seen Robert Morris once already, but the Colonials knew they hadn't yet seen them at their best.
I mean, looking back at the game that we played at the start of the season, we look back at that and we see that they've played kind of the same way in the last few games as they did coming up into our first game against them. We know that we know what to prepare for. We know that a lot of what went wrong with that first game was we didn't shoot well, we threw the ball away a lot. So it's really just coming down to we know how we can play and we just got to execute better.
Sophomore Chris Reynolds would make his first collegiate start in net, backing up Hager, the injured Tawarchin nominee. He quickly made his presence known, making 2 big stops before letting in the first goal of the game. Reynolds made 6 saves in his first collegiate win in goal, and at one point, shut out the Griffins for over 28 minutes.
It was nerve-wracking at first, but just practicing every day and then having to get in a few games this season, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be once the game started.
I mean, Chris is so even-keeled with his mentality. And him finding out yesterday that he was going to get the start, just kind of asked him how he felt, and his response to me was calm and cool and collected. And I said, "Come on, Chris." I was like, "Let's be honest here. You're starting for the first time in college in an NCAA tournament game." And he was like, "All right, Coach, I'm nervous." But he did bring that calm demeanor. He's very even-keeled and has that mentality that you really hope that your goalie has, and that's something that certainly helped him today.
He works hard every day in practice. I mean, he's seeing the shots that Hager sees every day, and he brings it in practice every day. And he stepped up and he took the next man up mentality, and really came out and did a great job today.
Also standing out for the Colonials was graduate student and attackman Justin Mayfield, who recorded his first career hat trick.
You know, Mayfield's one of those guys that works hard every day in practice. You know, he does little things right. And, you know, he's ready to go whenever his number gets called. And, you know, when he put that first one in, you know, we're like, all right, let's keep going with 26. He puts the second one in. And, you know, by that point, we knew that he was going to have a good day and he was flying around with confidence. So, you know, we kept putting him in there for him to be able to get the hat trick there.
Yeah, really special moment for him. I mean, Justin's been a rock for us throughout his time at Robert Morris. And we need big-time guys to make big-time plays and big-time moments. And Justin's a captain for us and does so many great things on and off the field. It was really, really awesome to see him capitalize an opportunity and help put us in that situation.
Carter Yepsen provided the game-winning goal as RMU went on to win its first ever NCAA tournament game by a 12-6 score.
I thought overall we executed pretty well. Last game we didn't. We beat them 11-9, so it was good to come this game and come out firing right away and really execute on the points this game that we did last game.
Yeah, I mean, from an effort standpoint, certainly very pleased with, you know, both sides of the ball. I mean, we thought defensively and offensively the guys really worked in the way that we expect them to. Some execution points that we certainly could have done a better job with. I mean, 0 for 4 on man up. You know, that's been a strength for us throughout the year, so we expect to capitalize a little bit more in those situations. But, you know, the main parts of the game plan defensively of stopping their early offense, offensively making sure that we push transition, then we were patient in 6v6. Those points that were the main stuff, we thought the guys responded great to.
I mean, I think we had a lot of production from the sideline all the way down, a lot of energy from the sideline as well, and our guys that were on the field were producing. I think it was just a good job of execution. That was something that Coach McMinn was talking about all week, and I think that we really brought that today.
Securing the Colonials a meeting with #1 seed and defending national champion Maryland.
You know, especially in the sport of lacrosse, I mean, there's really is nobody that can't beat everybody. You know what I mean? There's just so much equal balance throughout the teams, and it really comes down to whoever comes to play that day. So, you know, unlike football and basketball where the #1 team really is the #1 team, you know, anyone can beat anybody. You know, we saw UMBC knock off Albany early in the year when they were the #1 team. So, you know, as long as we take that kind of out of our minds and just think of, you know, those are just another 40, 18 to 21-year-olds on the other side of the field, you know, playing the same sport, you know, that should be able to take care of that #1 and us be able to go and win.
It's crazy. I mean, everyone, when you go to school, all you think about is like getting to as far into the season as you possibly can, and getting to go out and take on the #1 team and get to play at a really play in the NCAA tournament. It's a great feeling, and it's going to be even better if we get to win.
We're excited. I mean, if you look around all sports, #1 teams get upset all the time, so we're just excited to go in and got nothing to lose. We're going to play our best ball, hopefully come out on top.
They didn't have opportunity to be out here. You guys did. Here's the deal. You made history today. You made history today. The rest of your lives, you're going to remember this. The rest of your lives. Don't ever take that away from you. Yeah. Let's go.
The Colonials indeed took a more circuitous route to College Park than many thought they should. Still, they proved they belonged in May Madness, and they were eager to prove it again.
It's awesome. We're excited. I mean, we don't really try to put any team on a pedestal at all, so we're just going to scout them as we usually would and get ready to go on Sunday.
We'll let this one settle in, you know, probably spend the entire night getting that game film together and being ready to go tomorrow. But we'll break them down on film like we always do and see what we think we can exploit them with on both sides of the ball, and then go out there and play the game at the highest level we can.
Yeah, we're never worried about who we're going against. I mean, from #1 and number 71 across Division I, we've known that there's a lot of parity all year, and at this time of the year when they narrow that down to 16, we know that's anybody's ball game, and whoever's hot on that given day is capable of winning the game. So we're not worried about the name across the chest of the other team. We're just going out playing Bobby Moe ball, and we're excited to see what the result is.
Playing through pain is the price of any long season, especially one longer than any other in program history. That's a price the Colonials were willing to pay.
I mean, obviously, boys a little banged up, but I mean, that's across the country. Everyone's going to be a little sore, but I mean, we took it as a challenge to battle through some adversity. I think that's going to make us the better team moving on forward with this NCAA tournament.
It's a quick turnaround, so we want to make sure that we take every minute of the next 3-4 days and do everything we can to get prepared, rest the bodies, ice everything, and make sure that we're really focused on the scout, focused on what we're going to do to expose them in every aspect we can.
Yes, sir.
So this week we have been doing a lot of stretching, some extra stretching and stuff on foam rollers to make sure our body's all right. But basically it's been throughout the year we're getting up at 5:30 in the morning, get the list by 6, and we're running almost every morning. Which really, and doing sled pushes as well, a lot of stuff on the field and a lift as well at that time period. And we're running 300s at 6 in the morning, and I think we do that consistently. We do a really good job at pushing our pace and our effort in that. At this point, this is a cakewalk compared to what our workouts are like.
I take care of the guys if they get sick, if they get hurt. That's what I'm there for. My job's to get them back on the field as healthy as possible. A lot of them have bumps and bruises, are playing with sprains and sicknesses and stuff, and they're a group of tough guys. Most lacrosse players are, as most athletes are, and they just try to push through it to play the game they love and compete to the best of their ability.
Between our staff style of practices, Coach Hoy's workouts, they're built for these kind of moments. So from a conditioning standpoint, a physical standpoint, we're really confident where the guys are going to be. For us, I mean, it's not about jumping onto Maryland quite yet. We got to dig into this film, find little ways to improve, put the attention on us for a day or two, and then start to dig into some Maryland film and see where the scouting report takes us from there.
The Colonials embarked to Maryland and enjoyed practice in the luxurious confines of Capital One Field at Maryland Stadium. Reuniting with his team was junior goalkeeper Alex Hager.
Tatonka Buffalo.
What's up, I'm standing with my man Alex Hager here. I got to go far side here, but hey man, have a good time over there.
Get out there.
Jim, just one.
Lefty goal.
He scored 2.
2 this year? Wow, that's a record.
Right?
It's got to be some kind of record.
Yeah, like he's hot with his left hand.
Yeah.
Did we do that the first one? Or?
Do.
Going under! Guy!
Oh. Nice shot, Chris.
Go, Sean.
That was nice. 2. Oh, nice check there. Here you go, Frank.
Good floater.
Good feed, Tice.
Yeah. Good line. That's I had the block.
Oh, goal, I didn't even see it coming.
Oh. Dog white. All right.
Yeah, that'll go, Brad. Oh, yeah, Bill.
But Bill's hungry.
Bill is so hungry.
Overall, again, hell of a job coming out here and just getting a day of prep. Like we always talk about, so important to focus in on the controllables right now, right? We say it all the time, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is that we execute. And in order to execute, we have to put our focus on executing. So outside thoughts, got to make sure that they go to another place. Our thoughts are focused on doing what we need to do to be the best team that we've been all year tomorrow. So let's bring it in.
Yep. Boys. Go, boys.
On Zach Christensen.
Family on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Family.
Morgan Beans.
Let's get back to the Joe.
Grab your back.
We're already at the Joe.
The University of Maryland, for 3 consecutive years, has earned the #1 seed in the NCAA tournament, and today they welcome in the NEC champions from Robert Morris. Thanks for joining us here in College Park. I'm Booker Corrigan alongside Mark Dixon. First and foremost, happy Mother's Day to all the great lacrosse moms out there, including Mary Corrigan. Dixie, what do you love about the Maryland Terrapins this year?
Well, what I like is it's a new bunch, but they're battle-tested. When you lose guys off a national championship team like Rambo, Heacock, you need other guys to step up. And Connor Kelly, #1, has done just that for the Maryland Terrapins. A Tuarton finalist, one of the 5 best lacrosse players in the game today.
And so, in the first NCAA first-round game in program history, Zach Christensen became the RMU all-time leader in career starts with his 58th. Chris Reynolds made his second career start on the biggest stage of his young career.
Robert Morris is playing without their best goalie.
Alex Hager is a all-conference performer for the Colonials. The big man, 6'2", Chris Reynolds. He will be taking the start today. He had 6 saves in their play-in game victory against Canisius and held the Golden Griffins scoreless for almost 30 minutes.
Maryland struck first.
And now we're going to get our first shot, first goal, and it's Adam DeMillo.
With quality possessions and goals by Jimmy Perkins.
Slippery little play for the backside of Jimmy Perkins.
Shane Majeski.
Faithful Lovett from Moon Township, Pennsylvania. out of the timeout. Just a big-time spread offense.
And Eddie Smith gave the Colonials a 4-1 lead.
As Robert Morris now goes for a little invert behind the cage, gets an angle, comes around and scores. Robert Morris, no back down in these Colonials.
Matt Schmidt and Mitchell Wales continued to turn heads, each getting on the board before halftime to put RMU up 6-3 going into the locker room.
Season for him, he is making things happen for the Colonials. And it's a face-off win, that time Kyle Vince. Shot going, we are now rolling.
Mitchell Wales, get ready for your Mother's Day close-up. He is pumped up. Another long-bodied, long pole for the Robert Morris Colonials.
The internet was ablaze with reports of a 16 seed having the chance to upend a number 1. Adrian Tarak Orban, Carter Yepsen, and Sean Doyle, playing just a stone's throw from his alma mater, DeMatha Catholic High School, all got on the score sheet in the second half.
It's their love and feeling. Oh, absolute sick rip off the crossbar, shot goal. Rebounded, gathered by Carter Yepsen. But credit Matt Schmidt for making everybody a little bit dizzy. And Robert Morris.
The Colonials believe, and this is Maryland. This is Maryland lacrosse, quite honestly, taking advantage of an opponent's miscues. But off the turnover, tremendous clear by Connor Yepsen, and he's going to find Sean Doyle. Doyle just winds up, lets her rip, and solves Dan Morris.
But a big push by the Terrapins in the third quarter helped Maryland to escape with a 14-11 win. That loss ended the Colonials' 2018 season, but it did not dent their Colonial pride. They achieved their season-long goal of winning the NEC championship and getting to the NCAA tournament to compete for a national title, and they accomplished what all the alumni who came before them strived for. They showed that even a small school in a small conference could shock the world and have a shot at one day becoming an NCAA men's lacrosse champion. And above all, they proved that there is no limit to greatness.
They're going to the NCAA tournament.